pre and post
Mhm.
trip inspections, truck inspections.
Yep.
We fill that out on our DVI or DVIR on our log. We use MatTrack,
Mhm.
and we've had like an ongoing discussion on whether or not you need to be logged into the the truck at the time. So you're Bluetoothed in or not.
Mhm.
My contention was the truck doesn't need to be running when I'm doing my pre-trip, except for the portions that need to. So I'm saying I can log in, 15 minutes or 20 minutes prior. He's saying that you have to show at least a 15-minute pre-trip on your ELD, but it needs to be logged during that time, which would require the truck to sit there and run for 15 minutes. What's your impression on that?
All right. So here's how it works. What duty status is a pre-trip inspection?
On duty.
On duty, the one we're looking at right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says inspecting, number 2, all-time inspecting. So that's the first part. I'm going to go to the section of the regulations, but you know what the regulation says for a pre-trip? Prior to the start of operation, the driver must conduct a pre-trip inspection to his or her satisfaction. I'll say it again. Prior to operation, you need to do a pre-trip to the driver's satisfaction. That's the law.
Mm-hmm.
So how many minutes do you have to look at a truck to be satisfied? Well, it could be 7 minutes for one person. Maybe the next person is 11. Maybe the next person is satisfied with their inspection at 20. So this fallacy that it has to be 15 minutes is absolutely false. Okay. How long do you have to do it? I'm supposed to check it, but until I'm satisfied. Now, why did the 15 minutes come to the forefront? Because paper logs were always in 15-minute increments, you see? So drivers got programmed for decades to put a 15-minute pre-trip. Now that we have ELDs and you can log on duty time in increments less than 15 minutes, are you legit putting a 7-minute pre-trip down? Yes. Does the truck have to be running? No. Does it have to be on? No. Now, it might be on for me to check some of the items, yes, but that doesn't mean I need to boot up my ELD. I could turn the truck on and not have my ELD on while I do the pre-trip. Does that make sense?
It does.
Then when I boot my ELD up, what must I do before I drive away? Edit it to put that 7 minutes in the on-duty not driving line, then drive away. Yes?
Correct.
Can you edit in your pre-trip inspection after you do it? Of course.
Mm-hmm.
You better just not drive away without putting it in there. Okay. Now let's say you did drive away because you forgot and you get to the first stop and then you edit it after that. Now your log is accurate, correct? But when you drove to that first stop, was it a false log? Yep.
Correct.
Because you left without putting it in there. So pre-trip inspection required? Yes. Duty status? On duty. How many minutes? Whatever you want until you're satisfied. Now, post-trip inspection. You ready for this one? There's no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no legal requirement to do a post-trip inspection ever. So what do you have to log at the end of the day for inspecting your truck? Nothing. Now, as a trucking company, who thinks it's a good idea?
I do.
To do a post-trip? I do.
I do.
Why not look at your truck before and after, right? Why not be ready in the morning in case something happened throughout the course of the day? Would you agree? But does the law say you have to do it? No. What does the law say about the driver vehicle inspection report, the DVIR? You know what the law says? And we can look it up if you want me to show you where it is, because I can, just like I showed you this. I'm just talking. Paraphrasing, it says, if the driver knows of a defect at the end of the day, meaning a defect is known, you have to fill out a DVIR annotating that defect that's known. If the driver is not aware of any defect, do you have to do a DVIR? No. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if at the end of every day, 365 days later, your driver never knew of a defect at the end of the day, then you never have to do a DVIR ever. Let's say the driver noticed a defect during the day and got it fixed during the day. Does he have to do a DVIR at the end of the day? No, because the defect wasn't known at the end of the day. It was known during the day and he fixed it. Does he have to record that that defect was corrected and put that record in the maintenance file? Yes, but it does not need to be in his logbook. Does that make sense?
It does. But we also use a DVIR for our pre-trip to document the pre-trip. Is that unacceptable?
It's optional.
Okay.
You're filling out a form in the morning that ain't even required, right?
Okay. Right.
Are you allowed to do it? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
You're not wrong. But
Okay.
I'll tell you what, could you get violated if the driver says something stupid? Here's what he would say that's stupid. Hey, did you do a DVIR? Yeah, I fill it out every morning. Ah, shit. Because you're supposed to fill it out at the end of the day if a defect is known, right?
Okay.
So then if the inspector's stupid and he says, well, I understand you did it in the morning, but at the end of the day, did you know of a defect? Yeah, I knew of it. Oh, now I got you. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
But I can see it being misconstrued by some officers that you filled it out at the wrong time, even though it's not required because you didn't have a defect. If you found a defect in the morning and you filled it out, it's not required in the morning, right?
Okay.
Now, problem. If you want to keep yourself out of trouble with DVIRs, if you get a roadside inspection at a scale and the violation is not out of service, okay? That means your horn didn't work, which is not out of service, and they let you go with the violation. At the end of the day, your horn still doesn't work. You better fill out a DVIR that horn didn't work at the end of the day, because the investigator that'll knock on your door to do a review, he has evidence that you were aware that it didn't work at the end of the day because you signed the inspection report telling you it didn't work. You see? So there are tricky investigators that'll come in and say, let me see your roadsides. Oh, you had a horn. Oh, you didn't fix it till the next day. Oh, where's your DVIR? Oh, you don't have one. It's missing. Really? You know what I mean? So
is there a mechanism that you prefer to document the pre-trip?
What's that now?
Is there a mechanism that you prefer to document the pre-trip? Like I said, we've been using the DVIR almost as the documentation of the pre-trip that everything's satisfactory. Or is there no need to have documentation?
There is no need to have documentation for that per the regs, right?
Okay, right.
Would I be filling out a DVIR? Probably not, so I didn't confuse the inspectors.
Gotcha.
I would probably go more with a process like this. You do a pre-trip, right? It's 7 minutes long, so put it on duty and then just add a comment to that 7-minute duty status.
Mm-hmm.
Brake lights didn't work, or, tire needs to be repaired. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good.
Because then you're not actually going to confuse anyone. You're just annotating. What's nice about that is then you just have remarks. So all you really have to do is just look at that. Now, do you have to have a DVIR in your ELD? No, you could fill out a separate piece of paper. You know how the ELD is a logbook, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The DVIR process within a log is an optional thing. You never have to do it as part of the log, okay?
Gotcha.
Do you have to, if you think of it, do you have to even show the officer at a roadside any DVIR ever? No, because you don't do it in the beginning of the day, correct? You do it at the end of the day, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And there's no record retention that you retain a DVIR in the vehicle. So should you ever be showing officers at roadside your DVIR process? No, it's not even part of their inspection. You can't even get written up for it, right?
Right.
It's a back office requirement. It's not a roadside requirement. Did you learn something from that video? Good. Then your next step is to click on the button on your screen. Sign up for a free online event, especially for truckers. Why? Because it's free, and you'll discover how to lower your expenses and increase your profit. Make your company DOT proof. I'll see you there.